Hello. Hello, everyone. So, first of all, thank you very much for joining this panel. This is in English, right? Okay. I was not 100% sure. So, my name is Inês. I'm one of the founders of Portuguese Women in Tech. We are a community, we are also outside, so go there and get a pin and a sticker. But we are a community working to bring more women's technology, to support women in technology. We have been around since 2016, so a long time. Next year will be 10 years. And we have done a lot of initiatives to the Portuguese Women in Tech Awards, conferences, mentorship programs, always trying to bring more women's technology, and that has been one of our main goals over the past 10 years, but also how can we better support women that are working technology and do that through awards, mentorship programs, and so on. More recently, actually since last year, we start to focus more on leadership. Even though I think we still see, and there's still not a lot of women working technology, and it's very easy to know that because if you go outside, it's very easy to see. But we also need more women working or being leaders in technology, right? And we feel like this is a very important next step for us in our work in our community. And actually, that's why we are here today, but that's why also on Saturday, we have our first conference called Women and Leadership, focusing on, it's a full day of us discussing leadership, discussing what it takes to get there, how can we better prepare, and inspiration, tools, frameworks to help you prepare to be a leader. So that's a little bit about us. So today we have an amazing panel with us, and I'm going to ask you, each one of you, to start by introducing yourselves, a very short introduction, and then we dive in directly to the questions, or to my questions, yeah. Filipa, go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Filipa Castro. I live in Santo Tirso, which is a small town 30 minutes from Porto. I work on AI. I'm lucky to work in such field, actually since the beginning of my career. So I studied during those years between 2013, 2018, when we saw the first boom of AI and success of AI models. So the companies were starting to hire AI profiles when I joined the job market. Since then, I've worked before in a startup, then I worked for a bigger enterprise, multinational one, and currently I'm leading a team, so it's my first management role at Euronext, which is a pan-European stock exchange. Yeah, and I believe today I can share a bit of my short experience still in this first management role. And yeah, we can also talk afterwards if you would be interested.
I think I can go, hopefully, trying not to die here. I'm Daniela. So I started working as a QA, but I quickly understood that searching for the problems was not for me. I'm more the solving part, so I moved to product management. Okay, and I did the usual path, product manager, senior product manager. Now I'm a lead product manager at InfraSpeak. Okay, I manage not only the engineering teams, but also as a lead, I have to lead other product managers. Okay, mostly men. Now I have one girl, which is nice to be not the only woman in the team. So. And we're here to talk about our challenges, I guess, and I have a few to share, besides trying to stay alive.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nelma. I'm a senior product designer. Let's put a senior before. I don't manage anyone, but I'm a senior product designer on Promptly Health. It's a company that builds data products based on health data. My background is graphic design. I made the switch to tech 5 years ago. My first role in UX UI design was in e-commerce. And then I made the switch to health 6 months ago. So I don't manage anyone, so my challenge is my ambitions and what I want to achieve in tech.
Maybe you can. I can ask you a question because you mentioned like you made these switches. What was like the most important inflection point in your career, like, or decisions that you made that really impacted your career?
Okay, so I was working on graphic design like for 12 years. For those who know design, so graphic design is a very subjective field, even more on companies, on an enterprise area. So then I had a friend that presented me to UX UI. I love the idea of solving problems, related and real problems with feedback from users and data, and not only the subjective part. Then when I switched to the tech field, I started to like it even more and more. And I think the switch that I had was when I needed to, so in UX we need to work with a lot of people, with a lot of cross-functionality between teams, and the need that I bring people and try to influence people to give me some feedback and try to give them information so I can build and try to create the design journey was the most challenge part for me. So I kind of feel that when we talk about leadership, not only managing people, but try to make connections and collaboration work in order to take the ownership and lead the project, I think it was the most important.
Yeah. I think that's an interesting point, because I feel like a lot of the times we look at leadership as a job title, right? I'm a manager, I'm a lead, and even lead title, it's new, right? Before no one was a lead, right? Now people are a lead, but you can be a leader anywhere, right? So you can be a leader as you were mentioning, like you are bringing a lot of different stakeholders, asking for feedback, coordinating them, and that requires leadership, I would say.
Yeah. What I saw is when this one was a thing that I was thinking before is, okay, leadership is about knowledge. I need to know the most about this field. I need to know about other fields like front-end design or front-end engineers, so I can talk to the engineers and try to make it work, and they see me like they're equal. Now I think it's more about connections, collaborations, trust, building relationships within the teams, and then we can go further with the projects.
Good. Daniela, what about you? Any like inflection points or decisions that you've made that were important in your career?
Okay, so not talking about what can be a good product manager, bad product manager, so being a good or a great product manager really helps you on driving your career, but a little more, I would say, high level. Joining or building a community, okay? This sounds really weird, but for me, I still have that eager to learn a lot on how other companies do that, and you only have two ways of doing that. You either talk with other people or you move companies. And I know that in the last, let's say, 10 years, biggest movement was on moving companies, because when you move your career, when you switch from company to company, it's easier to earn more and you gain that knowledge, right? But for me, that was a huge drawback, that you don't grow with a company and you don't get to know the politics inside the company. So joining a community gave me the possibility, or in this case, to build a community, to have that knowledge without having to switch companies, and being able to grow a lot with a growing company. So if you have a company, or if you are lucky to find one company that you, as me, I found one that was going from Series C to Series B to hopefully Series C, sorry. You know, I entered, I was able to do a Series A, I already did a Series B, I'm going for a Series C. This means a lot of change, a lot of growing. And for a leader, if you want to become a leader, if that's one of your goals, I feel like growing with the company really helps you grow your career, but joining a community to have the knowledge of how does it do in other companies, because then you get to be the person that comes up with those ideas. You get to be the, oh, I listen on this talk, I listen on these people, I went and talked with a company that is already where we are going to be in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and I listened that if we do X or Y, we will improve. So in that moment, you can be the person that brings new ideas from the outside and not only new ideas from the inside. It's really one of those things that is very low effort if you like to know people, if you really enjoy in talking and understanding others. That's my case. It's very low effort for me to be sharing with you. It's very low effort to want to know about you, you know. And it brings me so much knowledge, so much competence, way more than any podcast, any book, any LinkedIn post ever brought me. Okay, way more. So that's the thing that I would say that really clicked my career was when I told myself that what I was learning at InfraSpeak or at Fireside was not enough. I wanted more. Okay.
Perfect. Filipa, for you, inflection point, decision?
So it's definitely easier to spot those inflection points when we look back in time, because when we are there, we don't realize it's actually an inflection point. So if I try to look back and realize what impacted maybe this kind of path towards leadership, I think were two things. One, when I was still in high school, which was, I think, naturally, I never thought about this. It was not a big intention, but I was always very proactive to join initiatives, associations, organizations for non-profit. So since very young, I would say 15, that I'm involved in this kind of initiatives, where gradually I was also put in positions where I had to lead small teams. So one was in my hometown. We had a group of 8 young people that were organizing events during weekends. And the fact that I really liked it so much and that I had these different contacts with different groups leading already informally, I think was probably the first turning point that naturally gave me some leadership skills. The second, it's not something that happened from one day to the other, but I would call it awareness or shift in mindset. So I believe that in the beginning of my career, I was always expecting someone to come and tell me what I could do, what I should do next. I think probably very influenced by our school system, where I knew exactly which step was next. So I would go for a first year, then second, third, then I need to get good marks on the exams, then I go to university. So everything was so easy, I didn't have to make decisions. And when I started in the job market, I was like that. Sometimes I was even complaining, I believe, to my company because they didn't tell me what were my objectives. They were not clear. I wanted more. They didn't give me more responsibilities. And when I shifted the mindset to I own my career and I will be the one if I want something, and a community is a great example because it's what I did in my previous company. I wanted to have some kind of leadership position. I was not given a team because there was no team to be given and no position to be promoted to. So I said, I will create a community for every week. We do a meeting and we share about AI use cases that we are doing in the company. And this mindset shift of, I will not wait that the others do it for me. I will try to go for it in other company. I leave the company, or in my company, I try to bring a new initiative. This was definitely a turning point for me to own my career and to be able to have some kind of leadership.
Well, and now that you are leading a team, formally leading a team, right? What are like the key things for your leadership style? Like, what do you value? Or what kind of values do you bring for in terms of leadership?
So in the beginning, to be honest, when I knew that I would need to build a team from scratch, it was last summer, I went to read a lot of books, blog posts, to learn about it. Of course, I had also in the past some trainings on leadership. And to be honest, it was overwhelming because some books were contradicting others. There's a lot of what to do, but there's also a lot of guidelines what not to do. And I was like overthinking and very afraid that I would commit those mistakes, mostly in terms of personal relationships. And at a certain point, I decided I will not overthink it. I will just follow my intuition. And I would say that what I think every day at the end of the day is I reflect if I'm being fair, because I'm the one taking decisions that relate with people's lives. If someone stays, if someone gets a raise, if someone is given this new responsibility with a lot of money as well, which then impacts people's lives. So I'm always indirectly thinking about how this will impact my team. So of course it's always subjective, and I'm not fair in each decision and to each person's view. But I do this effort of reflecting every day if I'm considering all the perspectives. And the second is related to what you also said. So what I try to do, even if I have a boring task, is try to understand who is the best person and how can I tell such a nice story so that this person is motivated to do it. So I try to influence people, which is quite easy on the AI field because it's nice, everyone wants to work on AI, so I can't say that it's a big challenge, but yeah, I try to be fair and I try to influence people and drive them by motivation.
Daniela, what about you?
It's a hard question, so I was thinking I'm leading people since the start of my career. So for context, I was the first QA on the company ever when I joined that company. When I left it, we were like 4 QAs. I was the lead. After that, I turned to product management, so you also have to lead engineering teams. That is very tricky because they actually don't respond to you. They have their own engineering managers and their fields, but you have to lead and influence them. And now I'm a lead product manager, and it's funny to say that my leadership style has shifted a lot from the start until now. I think I was a little harsh as a QA, a little, I would say...
You were assertive.
I would say harsh. Now I'm assertive. Now my leadership style is a lot of hands-off. I'm more of an hands-off lead, I would classify, and I know they classify me as that. I teach the people I lead, the first thing I teach them is what's the concept of autonomy, and that autonomy is not asking for help, is to know when to ask for help. Because if you never ask for help, I always have to be checking on you, and that's not autonomy. That's the first concept I teach people I lead. And after that, I would describe me as, I try to be candid, and this means for the good and for the bad. I'm very on the natural consequences of your actions. I will not push it forward. Also, I will not punish someone if they do badly. I will also not cuddle them when the consequences come. Okay, so that's a lot of I would say that's like raising a child, a little. So for those of you who are parents, that's a little of my leadership style. I think it works if you build a relationship with the people you lead that's strong enough for you to be able to tell them, you're not acting correctly. Here are the things, here are the downsides of what you're doing, and for them to be able to say it, I want to do it anyway, and you'll say, well, it's actually like raising a child. It's, are you going to die from that step? So I will not let them go and jump off a balcony, okay? Or are you going to hit your head and come back a little dazzled? Okay, then I will let you go and do that mistake. So that's a little bit of my leadership style. It works because most of the people nowadays want to be able to commit their own mistakes. So people feel empowered. You also have the other downside, because at the end of the day, I'm the one answering for them. So if they do a lot of that, I will be the one punished. Okay, so that's the pros and cons on being a more candid leader. Okay.
And what about you, Nelma?
So I don't lead people now. I used to, but I lead projects. Not that they are giving me projects to lead directly, so nobody says that this project is for you to lead. But I take ownership on that. I usually don't accept a no for an answer, so I take the project on my hands. And when I'm doing the research, and I'm trying to take all the inputs that I can get to see the problems on the process or the things that I need to solve. I try to empower people to give me the best and making them part of the project as well. So I always try to create connections with them and then go back and in every stage of the project. So when I'm designing, I go back to them and I say, okay, I designed this. What do you think? You were the one that gave me this problem. What do you think about this solution? Or this idea was yours? And giving that relationship and that feeling of belonging to them, I think it works on creating better products.
So we don't have a lot of time left, so I'm going to ask you a final question, which is like, what advice do you give to the people in the audience that want to pursue a career that leads them to become leaders of teams? So what advice would you give them?
Okay, I'm in the process, so I'm probably not the best person to answer that, but for my experience, no is part of the process. I had a lot of no's, a lot of doors closing, and it's part of the process. It's a learning experience. So, and don't be mad about it or feel sad about it, because sometimes it's not your fault, sometimes it is, and you learn with it. And the other is, don't ask for permission. If you want to lead, if it's not a team, it's a project, if it's a product that you want to work on, don't ask for permission. I don't, and it's been working for me.
So I would say, be sure you want it, not wanting it because it's the right next step for your career, because it's what the salary tells you have to do. If it's because of the compensation, it's not worth it. And if if you feel like in your company that's the only way you have to grow, change companies, okay? But don't go into a leadership or a management role just because you feel like you have to, okay? It's draining, okay? So if you imagine the problems you have with people on your day-to-day, with your stakeholders, with your colleagues, with everything, amplify that by 10, because then you'll have to manage all of the sides of the conflict, you have to manage people. And I personally love to do that, but it's, if you don't, and I have seen a lot of leads that should not be leading, okay, they should not be, they will get trained, okay, they will be fully motivated. The people below them will not be motivated. It's no for everyone, okay? So be sure you want it. If you be sure that you can take the next step. But for you to be sure, so as said, try a small thing, and well, an informal thing. Try to lead a small team that is in a project that is not really, let's say, official. Try to, I don't know, most of the jobs nowadays still don't have communities built for them. So build one and you try to grow the community. You'll end up managing like 10 community managers, and try if you like it, you know. Do some small experiences in your career and figure out if you like to lead. Because ending up on a leading role without enjoying those nicks and bits about the personalities, about the people, about all the problems that come with it, it will be awful for you and for everyone around you, okay? There are a lot of companies that don't make people go to leading roles if they don't want, and still make them grow in technical skills, in compensation, etc. Okay, so please don't do it if you don't want it.
I think that's a very good point, because I think a lot of times people look at leadership as a reward, But doesn't necessarily need to be, like, it should not be seen as a reward. It should be something, sometimes it's more a sacrifice than a reward, because managing people and managing projects is more responsibility, more challenges. A lot of the times you stop doing things that you actually like to do, so.
I think it would be for most of you that are in tech, so I don't know if anyone here is from a sales team. No, it would be as for you to be on a sales, and you would probably not like, and for the sales guy to be on the tech side, and you would hate it, okay? So imagine the leadership is the same. It is not the same role with a lead on top or with a compensation, with an extra compensation. It's a different role. You're moving a different role. You're just a field of expertise allows you to lead others better, okay? But that's a totally different role that it was an SIC, okay? Don't see it as a career progression. See it as I'm changing my role from a product manager to a lead product manager, from product design to a lead product design, for engineering, for someone that will not write code anymore, you know? That's the difference, okay? So be aware of that. It's not a progression on your career, it's a change of role.
I hope no one is totally discouraged into going into a management position, but you are right about what you are saying. So I would reinforce the go for it, because it's what I just said. At least in my experience, this was the turning point when I shift the mindset from someone needs to make it for me or tell me the way, versus I will take the initiative and do it informally, formally. Can be inside the company, can be in a non-profit or some kind of association outside of work where you gain this experience. My second advice, because my first one would also be this one, to take initiative, it's a bit related to what we were saying, so be aware that it's a completely different role. But what I noticed, and at a certain point, I think it froze me a bit. So I thought that to become a manager or a leader on AI, I would need to be very good at everything. So I would need to be very good at understanding the concepts of cloud, the concepts of AI, all the fields of machine learning. Said that I would need to be very strong technically, because then I would be leading technical people, very strong ones, like seniors with the double of my age sometimes. And I think this is a trap, because what then someone told me, and was also a turning point, is you don't need to be good at everything, and you don't need to look at your weaknesses. In my case, I didn't think that I was super awesome in the technical stuff. You need to focus on your strengths. So if you are good at communicating, if you are good at influencing people, you don't necessarily need to be the best on the technical side, because your talent is really on the other side, which is at leading these people that need your guidance, even if you don't know more than them. So I would also encourage you, if it's the case that you believe you need to be the expert in everything, to remove this blocking point from your mind, because I don't think it's true.
And I think that's a good point, because I feel like a lot of times we feel like, oh, these people have so much more experience, but even Cristiano Ronaldo has a coach, remember? Or what was the best player in the world? I forgot. What's the name of the game? I don't remember
It's
anymore.
from Paris Saint-Germain, but I don't know.
Exactly, Dembélé. Even Dembélé has a coach. So I think like that's something important for us to consider when we are leading teams, right? It's not about, I think we all like, sometimes you're like, the person has more experience, is working on this more, understands more, but the reality is like everyone needs, all teams need a coach, a leader that is able to influence that. Cool. That's it from our side. It's over. Thank you very much for coming, for joining us, and and we'll enjoy. I'm not sure if we are the last panel or not. If we are, I hope you had a good time at the conference. If not, enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you.
Thank you.